Alrighty, everybody, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Atlanta News First Alert Desk. Happy to see you on this wonderful Monday evening. I'm Savannah Louie with Atlanta News First. We've got your top stories for you this evening on October 2nd here, just kicking off the month. And we're kicking off the week with a pretty important warning from authorities tonight. They say they are looking for this young man, this teenager, 17-year-old Kamarian Kendricks right here after a disturbing incident over the weekend. They say that Kendricks is accused of shooting and killing another teenager at a football game, a high school football game. Kendricks now faces several charges, including murder. All of this happening at Griffin Memorial Stadium, again, over the weekend. Quick recap of what exactly happened here. We're told by officials that law enforcement at the game heard gunfire while at the game. After doing some searching, they found a teenage victim less than 1 block away from the stadium. You previously saw the stadium in some of this video that we showed you right here. We're told that victim, just 14 years old, died at the hospital. And that suspect, again, you see him on your screen right here, Kendricks, he is considered armed and dangerous. Police say if you encounter this 17-year-old, to notify authorities and to exercise caution. All right, we have another really interesting story here. This one out of Brookhaven. Police found the body of a missing Brookhaven woman. I want to show you her picture right here. This is Amy LaFakis, again, a missing mother, and her body was found. Officials say that they believe Brandon Winninger, who is a man that she briefly dated, well, they say that he was arrested as a result of their investigation. He was in court earlier today, and now his charges include tampering with evidence, burglary, and kidnapping. But so far, no murder charge. Brookhaven police say LaFakis' body was found on Drowing Creek Road in Gwinnett County. That's the same county where Winninger faces a charge of concealing the death of another. LaFakis' family tells Atlanta News First that their daughter came home Friday and she couldn't get in touch with her mom. Very upsetting story, and it is a developing story. So as we at Atlanta News First continue to learn more about the circumstances surrounding her death and any developments with the trial here, we will, of course, keep you up to date and bring you up to speed on everything that we know. All right, guys, we are zipping along here. I want to move on to another really interesting story. If any of you guys have kids, especially kids who are athletic, I think you're going to find this one really, really interesting here. Georgia student athletes can now make money off their name, their image, and their likeness. This is pretty incredible here, and I know a lot of these young folks are going to be looking forward to this. High school athletes here in Georgia, that's who we're talking about. And so what has happened here? The Georgia High School Association approved NIL for its student athletes at a meeting this morning. Now there are a few rules that they must follow. For example, school names or logos cannot be used. Money cannot be used as an incentive to attend a school. But overall, this is big news for a lot of these young student athletes in high school who can now make money off their name and likeness, very similar to professional athletes. The Peach State is the 30th state, by the way, to allow students to profit from their name, image, and likeness. And experts we spoke with believe that other schools here in the South could follow suit as we see these new rules playing out here in Georgia. All right, guys, final story for you tonight. We got to wish Jimmy Carter a very happy 99th birthday, the former president turning 99 years old over the weekend. We sent a crew out to Plains, and our political reporter, Doug Reardon, gives us an awesome look inside the celebration. I want to show you his report.
The sleepy little town of Plains remained that way for the big day. Jimmy Carter typically spends his birthday with his family, and that was the plan again this year. But his admirers came from all over to celebrate Jimmy Carter in all sorts of ways.
I knew his birthday was coming up on October 1st. I thought, that's a weekend. What if, could I,
So April Kirkman of California did.
So I took a red eye last night from San Francisco to Atlanta, and I slept a little bit in the car, And then I drove down here.
To Plains to celebrate her favorite president on his 99th birthday with her guitar in tow. Kirkman sang us a song she wrote for Jimmy Carter on his birthday.
He worked for peace in the Middle East, fought hard for human rights. I wish that he has a wonderful spirit-filled day. He feels the love.
Down the road at Maranatha Baptist Church, where Carter attended and taught his famous Sunday school lessons that drew people from around the world.
You know, we're celebrating the birthday of a man 99 years old today.
A small group of friends and worshipers marked the big day, 99 years of service to the nation.
If you want to go for 100, I'm here with you.
Jan Williams has been with Carter at Maranatha from the very beginning. She's not surprised by the support from big names and small that have poured in for the former president's birthday.
The outpouring of love, to me, is just a part of his legacy because he has done so much for the entire world, so much for common man.
The peanut farmer turned president that inspired people all over the world without ever losing his hometown roots.
Plains is Jimmy Carter. Can't take him out of it, and he'll be here forever.
Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Happy birthday, President Jimmy Carter. We're excited for you. Another year done and another one yet to come. All right, guys. And thank you so much for joining us here at the Atlanta News First Alert Desk. We got to show you this. Take a look here. Marietta Square. You can barely see the last glimpse of sunlight here as we see that sun start to set on the first day of the week. Let's bring in meteorologist Patrick Pete with more on the forecast. And Patrick, you say it's going to actually get a little chillier and finally start to feel like fall in just the next few days.
Yeah, looking forward to a little bit of a cool down. Like my sweater weather in the afternoons, it's going to be gorgeous out there. But we still have a couple of days of very pleasant weather in the cards for us as we head through the next couple of days. So green light, if you love the low 60s in the morning, you love the low to mid 80s in the afternoon and lots of sunshine, this is the week for you. It's actually been a very pleasant stretch of weather for quite some time across North Georgia, and that'll change a little bit, but not terribly. We are going to trend a little bit cooler, and we actually have a chance for some showers in the forecast. So let's go ahead and get into it. Good evening. Happy Monday. The good news, comfortable days ahead. Those mornings are going to stay the same, and the afternoons are going to feel nice and mild. That dry stretch is going to linger through the rest of the work week, and then the rain chance comes in late Friday night into Saturday. But I think our bigger story here is the first alert for Sunday, because we are talking about a cool down. Temperatures are going to trend into the low 50s in the morning. And just a gauge of reference, we always talk about Atlanta being an urban heat island, and it's typically warmer than all of the surrounding areas. So that means that if the morning temperature is 52 here in Atlanta at the airport, that means that a lot of other communities actually going to start off Sunday morning in the 40s. So I know that the jackets have kind of been optional for some of these mornings, not too bad. But I do think that Sunday morning, when a lot of folks are going to church, that is going to cause them to dress a little bit differently than we've been dressing for a while. Even if that means that you're going to have to put on a long sleeve shirt, a sweater to go to church versus a nice t-shirt. And either way, it's a heads up that the weather pattern is changing just a little bit, and you're going to have to approach the day a little differently. Meanwhile, the afternoon numbers are going to be cool too, unseasonably cool. And I do think that a lot of the afternoon is going to be spent in the 60s. So let's get you through the gorgeous part of the forecast. And we have a nice little ridge set up across the central and eastern part of the country tomorrow, and that's going to actually continue into Wednesday. And that's going to allow for a suppression of cloud development. So we don't expect much in the way clouding our skies. It's going to be gorgeous. We're also going to see those numbers be pretty comfortable as we head into the afternoon. So morning temperatures in the low 60s, and then around the time the kids are getting out of school, we'll already be into the low 80s, and we're going to hang out in the low to mid 80s for most of the afternoon. So a pretty gorgeous forecast for tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I'm going running outside, and I'm going to give you the green light to do some of that as well. And we're going to see a similar setup for Wednesday. Daytime highs hitting 85 here in Atlanta, 84 in Athens, 87 going to be the warm spot in Rome. We'll be near 84 down in LaGrange. So really just a gorgeous setup for the next couple of days. You can kind of see that front approaching late week. Not going to make its way into our region until Friday night, Saturday morning. That's where we're going to see some of those showers pushing through. And it's going to depend on the timing of this front. If this speeds up just a little bit, that means Saturday morning could be a little bit cooler too. We still expect it to be upper 50s, low 60s, but if that front speeds up as we head through the next day or two, do not be surprised if we have to add another first alert, because both those mornings could be cooler, or we may have to switch it. But for now, it does look like that front's going to move through a little bit later Saturday morning, which means that temperatures will be a little bit cooler for the afternoon Saturday, like upper 70s, and then we'll fall to near 70 by Sunday. So that's where our guidance is on that. And either way, that's going to lead to a cooler Saturday evening and a cooler Sunday as a whole. Sunday's forecast is 70 degrees for an afternoon high, morning temperatures in the 52. The last time that we had an afternoon top out at 70 degrees or below was back at the end of May. So this is going to be the coolest afternoon in quite some time. And then as we head into the morning hours, those morning temperatures are going to be the coolest since the beginning of May. So that's why we're first alerting. I don't want you to think that this Sunday first alert means no outdoor plans. It just means that there's a shift in the weather pattern, and you can do all of the things you want to do. You're just going to probably dress a little bit differently, which for me, 70 degrees in the afternoon is a win. I'm not going to lie. My range for perfect afternoons is between 65 and 85. If you can get me anywhere in there, I am as happy as a newborn baby. So heads up to the shifting weather pattern. The low end rain chances Friday evening into Saturday is something for us to watch out. All in all, for it to be fall, for us to have a pretty dry week and to have a forecast that trends a little bit cooler, I think that most of us are happy with that, and that's looking pretty good. We're also keeping an eye on the tropics for you. We are still in hurricane season despite trending cooler, that it ends at the end of November. What we are tracking is Tropical Storm Philippe. We've been talking about this guy for over a week, and this has been the most interesting storm that I've actually seen and watched because it just has behaved so erratically. And right now it's undergoing a whole lot of northwesterly shear. And you can kind of see that from this imagery here. You see where that spinning icon is? That's approximately where that center of circulation is. And all of the convection is on the south and the easternmost side. And that's because it's getting a northwesterly wind. We often say wind shear, but it's wind shear at that's really just cutting off a lot of those showers and thunderstorms from developing around that center and pushing them south and east. So it's a very disorganized system. It's in a very high shear environment right now, and we don't expect that to change for another day or so. It's still maintaining 50 miles per hour wind, so it is still a tropical storm. Here's a look at the National Hurricane Center's cone of uncertainty. And I'm going to take you back to me for a second because with this system behaving so erratically, its intensity is going to be determined by which side of the cone it takes. So if it takes that easternmost edge of the cone, that's going to bear for better intensification. It's going to be a less shear environment, a more favorable environment. So if it takes the eastern edge of that cone, we could see this become Hurricane Philippe. If it continues along the westward edge, that's where it's going to be in a slightly less favorable scenario. So while it will probably intensify a little bit, becoming a hurricane will probably just not be something that happens. So we're going to continue to monitor this because there's a correlation between the two, and that makes the system even more interesting than it's already been. So I'm going to rewind a little bit so that I can get you back to the 7-day forecast because I know we're all trying to make plans for this gorgeous forecast. It's October, so if you don't have your Halloween decorations up, I'm looking at you with a side eye. And this week is the perfect opportunity to get some of those decorations up. I'm looking around the newsroom, and while I've seen a couple of decorations for a couple of the holidays, I don't see a scarecrow or anything like that. So if you guys are joining us on YouTube, you can actually comment and tell me what your setup for Halloween. You're doing scary on the outside. Let us know what you're doing there. And if you're joining us at home, hey, what's going on? Happy Monday. No reason to kind of keep you here long because this weather pattern is pretty dope. But I will leave you with this 7-day forecast so you can screenshot it, plan ahead. And we're going to have an update on Philippe and all things cold front coming our way, coming up tonight at 10 on Peachtree TV, and meteorologist Fred Campagna will have that last look before you go to sleep on Atlanta News First. Make it a fantastic Monday and work week. Enjoy this beautiful weather while we have it. Good night.